Hi, I'm Danny with etrailer, and today we're going to take a look at the Curt E16 fifth wheel hitch on our 2019 Ram 2500. This fifth wheel hitch was specifically designed for your Ram truck, and you can take sharp turns with this. It's a non-biting slider, so you can pull this lever and slide this to where you need it. This has a dual pivot head, which will make for a nice, stable, and quiet ride. What's nice about this fifth wheel hitch is it is adjustable, so you can raise and lower your head here with bolts along the side. And what's nice about that is our neighbor has a tonneau cover, so he can put this over and it will cover and protect his fifth wheel. You can also raise it to the exact height of your trailer. When you're ready to hook up your fifth wheel trailer, all you have to do is pull this arm out, rotate it up, and it locks it into place. This hitch has a vertical load limit of 4,000 pounds. That is the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch in that direction. And it also has a max towing capacity of 16,000 pounds. But do always check your owner's manual and make sure you're towing what your vehicle can handle. As far as install goes on this, there is a lot of moving parts, a lot of hardware, and it is very difficult to get the bolts tightened near the gas tank. So if that's not something you're interested in doing yourself, you can check out our dealer locator and we can find a professional in your area to get this done for you. But if you're looking to do it yourself, follow along and I'll walk you through it. First thing you're going to want to do is lower your spare tire. So I'll go ahead and get this pulled out. Next, I'm going to remove the heat shield just to get us some more working room. There's going to be a series of 10mm bolts. I'm just going to get these all removed. There's going to be some up on the frame as well. And once you get all those removed, I'll take this off and set it to the side. This is going to be one of our A and B brackets, and this is going to be for our passenger side. And how you know that is this long part is going to be facing forward, and the fork part is going to be facing back towards the tailgate. So now I will get this temporarily put in place. And here are the factory weld nuts right behind the spring, and this is where this is going to sit. But before I put this up, I'm needing to get this out of our way. So I'm just going to use a trim panel tool and get this popped off. So we get a little more room. And on the driver's side, there is going to be more things in our way, some electrical plugs. So I'm going to get my trim panel tool and get these removed as well. At this point, you're going to want to clean these out. I just got some silicone lubricant and a wire brush because these can get kind of rusted up. And once I've done that, I'll come back with our hardware. It's the smaller bolt, and there should be 8 of them. And I'll get this ran in, make sure it's running smoothly, and I'll do this on all of our holes. Next, you're going to need your bigger spacer block, your small 12mm bolt, and then your larger 12mm bolt, and some conical tooth washers, and I'll go temporarily put our brackets in place. We're going to mostly show the passenger side just because it's more easily accessible. The driver's side is going to be a bit of a struggle, but it's going to be the same process. I'm going to slide our bracket where it needs to go. I'll take the smaller bolt with the conical tooth washer and get this threaded in to the hole that's facing the tailgate. And it is important to clean these out because it'll make this a lot easier to get this hand threaded in. Now the back hole is the one where we're going to need our spacer. So I am actually going to pull this wire out just to give us more room and so you can see it a little better as well. Slip our spacer where it needs to go and thread our longer bolt through the back. I got my bracket centered on our cross rail. I'm going to use a center punch and get a punch right in the center. I'm going to do that on this side as well as the driver's side, and then I'll lower it down and put our rail in the top. I'm going to drill an 1/8 inch hole from the bottom, and I am just going to drill just this one. The other ones are not that accessible. They do give you measurements up top, and I'll place our bar and go from there. Now we can get our first rail set into place. Now there's going to be 2 measurements on your instructions, one for an 8-foot bed and one for a 6-foot. We have a 6-foot today, so we went by those. And we're going to measure from the back of our bed, not our tailgate, to the back side of our rail. Now I do have 2 tape measures, and it's more for demo purposes. You just need one. But I went ahead and put some blue tape on that measurement on either side, scooted it down to where I needed it, and I measured it to be centered on the vehicle as well. The hole that we drilled up from underneath is going to line up with the square hole second from last, and it is a little off. I went ahead and measured everything, and I'm going to take a punch, and I'm going to punch in the center of all these square holes that we need our hardware. This step is really important to get right because you want this to be perpendicular to your truck bed, and you want this to be in the right place so your 5th wheel can sit in this properly. I'll also punch out the center hole and the one closest to our cab. Now I'll take the 1/8 inch drill bit and get these all drilled out. We can now remove this rail out of our way. And I will mention I went down below and I checked our holes to make sure they were lining up with our bracket. And these were a bit off on the driver's side, so I drilled more that will be in the center of our bracket. So now I'll open all these up to a 9/16. Now the instructions do say to take our brackets off underneath our bed, but since the driver's side is extremely hard to get into place, I'm going to leave it, and I'm just going to be very careful when I drill through I don't hit that bracket. I'm using a die grinder bit, and I'm going to open these holes up just a little bit to get all the burrs off. And now I'm just going to vacuum up all the mess. I'll come back with a paint marker and clean up all the bare metal so this doesn't rust in the future. We can now drop our carriage bolts down through the holes we made. Now, this is on a rib, so they do give you a U-bolt or U-shaped bracket that you can put under here so you don't crush the bed. Now, if this hole is on top of a ridge, you will have to put these on the bottom. So I'll go ahead and slide this to where I need it and drop our hardware in. And to make this easier, I went ahead and went to underneath the vehicle and tightened our brackets down just a little bit so they would more easily line up. There we go. I'm going to take the rectangle washer that comes in the kit. I'm going to put that over our bolt. And then I'm going to get a nut and get this tightened on. Now, it might be helpful to have somebody up in the bed pushing down on your bolts or just something heavy on it. And I'm going to do this for all the bolts we have. Now that we got our front rail supported, I had my camera guy Jonathan help me lift this into place because it is pretty heavy. And now I will slide it into these rectangle slots where it needs to go. Make sure it's square. It should fall into place. Now I got the back rail and I'm going to slide that into place. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift this up and put it in these rectangle grooves where it's going to live. Very carefully. And once it's in, I'm going to push the whole assembly back towards the front rail. Make sure it's seated. Now I'll make sure everything is square to the truck. So I'll measure from the wheel well to the end of our rail, make sure that's even. After measuring both sides, I'll go ahead and get a measurement from the end of the bed to the back of our rail and make sure this is going to be the same on both sides. Now that we got everything in place, we can drill with our 1/8 inch drill bit down to where we need to bolt this rail. So on the back side here, it's going to be second from the end, and on all the rest, it's going to be 4 from the end. And the middle one is going to get a bolt as well, and that's going to be closest to the tailgate. Now I'll go ahead and get these drilled out. I drilled my 1/8 inch hole while it was on there, and now I'm going to open it up with the 9/16. I'll clean it up with the burr bit and mark it with the marker so it doesn't get rusted out. On the driver's side, on the hole that's facing the cab, this one needs to be drilled out further through the bed support. I'll take my bit and I'll drill through that as well. This is our hole that we drilled down through our bed support beam, and we need to open this up so our cylindrical spacer can fit up in there. Now I'm going to use a step bit and get this opened up. With that opened up, I'm going to give it a coating of spray paint just so it doesn't rust. With that hole enlarged, we can put our rail in place and start putting our hardware in. So the one closest to the tailgate on the passenger side is going to get a normal carriage bolt and spacer block in there. And the hole on the other side, the one facing the cab, is going to get your regular bolt. It's not going to be a carriage bolt. And then you're going to put a conical tooth washer on it, teeth facing the metal. And I'll put our spacer in as well and get this put through. The middle one is going to get a washer and carriage bolt. And this one's going to get the same thing. Put our spacer in here. Get our carriage bolt dropped down. And this one that's facing the cab is going to get our longest carriage bolt, and I'll drop that all the way down. Now I got the rear left and right brackets. So this one is going to go on the driver's side. As you can see, it's got 2 holes here, and the passenger side is only going to have 1. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt the driver's side on now. And I'll get our spacer. Now it does say in the instructions we may have to cut this, so I'm going to determine that now by putting it up through and putting our bracket in place. You may have to remove the fasteners on the wire just to get this in place. Now it looks like that spacer is going to be just fine, so I'm going to take our smaller bolts in the kit with the conical tooth washer and get these fed into the frame. Now do make sure you clean these out just like we did on the front weld nuts. Once I get one in place, it'll hold its own weight. I can get the rest of the hardware on. And the hardware going through the bed, I'm going to put our washer and then our nut. Just going to get all this loosely in place for now. For the center bolt, I'm going to do the same thing. Put our washer down and get the nut tightened. If you don't have any weight up there or someone pushing it, you can push the bolt to one side. That makes it a little easier to get this threaded on. I got the passenger side bracket. I'm going to get this one in place as well. sure it goes up through our top bolt, and then I'll get these threaded on. I have the weld nut that comes in the kit. I'm going to put this through the frame rail where we drilled that rear bolt that has a conical tooth washer up top. And I got Chris up top helping me out. He's going to spin this so we can get this tightened on. Now I'm going to put our fifth wheel into place. And I'm going to tighten everything down. Now with this in place, it should hold it where we want it, and we can tighten and torque everything underneath. I'm going to tighten the hardware that's going through the bed first on all of it, and then the ones going into the frame. And now with my torque wrench and 19mm socket, I'm going to tighten and torque this last piece of hardware down. Now this is the one going through into the frame rail. Tighten this down and get it torqued down. Now with everything torqued down, we can set up our fifth wheel attachment. Before we attach the head to the fifth wheel, we have these rubber spacers, and I'm going to lift this up, and these are going to go in between the base and the rail on each one of these. So I'll do this on each one. I'll secure it now with the pin and clip on all four corners. I'll get the center section and slide it into place where it's going to go. And as you can see, there's many holes, so this is where you can determine your height. This is where you want to measure your fifth wheel trailer and find out which hole you're going to use. For right now, we're going to use the second from the top. I'm going to put our bolt through on either side, put a washer and a nylock nut. And I'll do this on both sides. I'll take a 22 wrench and a 22mm socket and get these tightened down. For this side, I just took the pin out of the handle, and I'm going to put it in the open position so I can get these tightened down. I'll now put the head in place. It's going to rest right up top here, and I'll get pins put through on both sides. And last thing to do is to get our handle installed. There's going to be a hole on top of your handle and a hole on this rod that sticks out. Let's get those lined up. I'm going to get our bolt, comes in the kit. It's a small bolt and nylock nut. Get that pushed through. And I'll get this tightened down with a 10mm socket and wrench. And the last thing to do is to throw up our heat shield, put back our spare tire, and you're ready to start towing. Now, if you have any further questions about what fifth wheel hitch is going to be best for your truck, feel free to reach out. Other than that, that was a look at the Curt fifth wheel hitch on our 2019 Ram 2500.